Does this characterization of Bitcoin have any validity? Total world currency is less than total GDP. True. So the remaining value is comprised of debt. In fact, more, a lot more. The whole world is built on debt, mountains of debt, far more than money and GDP. But we'll leave that for now. Bitcoin is deflationary, so its value goes up with time. Technically, Bitcoin is inflationary, but because people lose so much, you could argue it's deflationary. Again, we'll leave that there. But your interesting question is, therefore, no one would ever borrow Bitcoin because it would be more expensive to pay back the loan. So there would be no borrowing, no bond market, no reserve currency in Bitcoin. So it's a dead end. Brilliant question. I love these questions because they make me think hard about exactly how this stuff works. So I've got 3 ways of answering this. And I hate to be wishy-washy. I like to be black or white, yes or no. But this one is a little bit gray. And let me explain why. This is the simple answer first. You can borrow in Bitcoin the same way you borrow in dollars. But if Bitcoin is expected to rise in value, lenders can technically set negative interest rates as you pay back fewer coins or structure loans differently or more efficiently. People already borrow assets, for example, a change in value, like stocks, gold, real estate. It just requires adjusting terms. And debt markets don't disappear. They will change and adapt to whatever is out there. Now, there are 2 sides of the coin. I'm taking this from a pro and con perspective. And it's all a question of what you do with the Bitcoin you borrow. If you're borrowing Bitcoin and converting it into fiat and then converting it back to Bitcoin later, that could be a bad trade. But let's talk about the pros of why you might be right. This is the problems with Bitcoin as money. It is harder to borrow if Bitcoin keeps going up, as you say, and economies need credit and debt to grow. If there's no borrowing, there's no bond markets, and history shows as well, deflation does freeze growth. But technically, Bitcoin's not deflationary. And people might hoard instead of spend, which also has an impact on money. Remember, the US government could not waste as much money as they waste if they couldn't borrow. Remember, the US government, for every $4 they spend, they create $1 in value. They are the worst capital allocators on the planet. We'll talk more about that too, and some of the new changes that are coming to the world as well, what I call UBI nation. But this is the opposite. That was the pros, which technically could be cons. These are the cons, which technically could be construed as pros, but why it still could work. So Bitcoin-backed loans already exist. Yeah, but people borrow against their Bitcoin to buy fiat, but they don't have to repay in Bitcoin. Bitcoin is just the collateral. And growth isn't only from debt. It could be, we'll talk a lot about this today, could be from AI and infinite abundance through all the effectiveness and efficiency gains we get from artificial intelligence. It's possible too, not just by borrowing. And Bitcoin can be digital gold while others handle credit, for example, stable coins, etc. All that could be handled there. And deflation doesn't always kill spending. It can hurt, it can delay decisions, but not all spending. And finally, Bitcoin and fiat can coexist. Case in point, El Salvador. So it's a brilliant question. I think I will argue with you. There are ways of working around it. You just need to unthink the way actually money works today to flip it into Bitcoin. So I think, yes, you can. Bitcoin is money. Bitcoin is better money. And that's what makes it difficult to wrap your head around because you're used to such debasing fiat.